It's it's Day of Judgment time, right? You know, today's the day where there's supposed to be tariffs on everybody. 10% general tariff on everyone in the world. And then, his dumbass chat GPT chart. You know. He's backing out. He's bitching out. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125%, so an additional 21%, effective immediately. So, I don't even know, so he's just raising it up to a flat 125%, or what? Whatever. At some point, oh wait, I'm not even doing it in the voice. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the US and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Keep in mind, you know what he means by ripping off other countries. They buy cheap goods from them. That's what he means by ripping off. Like, oh, I can't believe that China's economy is an export market with it flowing out of cheap goods that it has a manufacturing base for. Okay, I've said this ad infinitum, goddamn how many times at this point. The reason why fucking China has a fucking cheap manufacturing base is because you motherfuckers like you and all of your fucking rich buddies are the ones who outsource all the jobs, manufacturing jobs specifically, to the Chinese. So you could, take advantage of their labor base, which is cheaper. And yeah, like you just said, Boy Meets Mini, cheap goods are the literal reason his rich friends are rich. Why can you have cheap slop from fucking Walmart? Because they outsource all that fucking shit to China. It's why your TVs are cheap. It's why your fucking other electronics are fucking cheap. It gets fucking all outsourced. Crazy. It's just it's annoying how they just don't seem to fucking understand it. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs. And why does he have a fucking comma with an ant? Okay, whatever. Why does he have so many commas? Whatever. Just about every shirt in my closet says made in China. IDK how hard it is to understand based on just that. I'm surprised they don't say made in Bangladesh, but whatever. And that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States. I have authorized a 90-day pause and a subsequently lowered reciprocal tariffs during that period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So he's backing off. And from what I understand from broader reporting, he's just lying. He's full of it. No one has made a deal for him. He literally decided to crash the economy, bring back the economy, crash the economy, bring back the economy, just for a little bit of trolling. That's the only reason why he did it. What? Currently, what? The S&P 500 has recovered. Oh, excellent deal making as always, sir. Let's take a look at that Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Its overall went down, or not really changed much. So he just did this just because he wanted to do a little bit of trolling or something? Oh, let's not pay attention to the fact that it's been generally a bit of a downward trend. So he just decided to do this because he thought it'd be a funny duddy. But I mean, it's been great for private equity. Yeah, they bought the dips. It all went back up. What was even the point of any of this? Why did he do this? Literally nothing was accomplished. He got nothing out of this, and he just pissed everybody off. It's like, okay, man. And he's backing off. This makes him look incredibly fucking weak. But I'm telling you, more than likely, like, the only reason why he probably backed off of this, well, inevitably, is because probably, like, some dude came to his ear, was just like, we can't really win a trade war against every country in the world. Trade war with China? Sure. Trade war with the entire world? I don't think so. But Trump said he's being flexible now. Yeah. He's probably flexible. What do we have to say here? What's the big man got to say? Trump on the market going back up to below where it was last week. I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That you did that. You're the one who just decided to willy-nilly just slap tariffs, not slap on tariffs, then back off of the tariffs, then slap onto the tariffs, and then back off of the tariffs. And then the market recovered because of that. It's so stupid. Like, people are, like, saying, like, was this, like, all insider trading? Why the fuck did he do this? What is going on here? Was this, like, all, like, a fucking bullshit rug pull?
You know, I think in financial markets, because they changed. Look how much it changed today. We went from, you know, pretty moderate today, but over the last few days, it looked pretty glum to...
Because of what you did. You did that. Come on, man. You did that. You're the one who caused that all. Okay, dude.
I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be flexible. You have to be flexible. Like he's asking the question about some companies. Some companies, through no fault of their own, they happen to be in an industry that is more affected by these things than others. You have to be able to show a little flexibility. And I'm able to do that. I'm going to say hello to the...
You were the one who did all of this, man. You call for the tariffs, then you back off of them. Then you call for it again, then you back off of them again. And then, like, as a result, this fucking happens. Come on, man. Bruh. But don't worry. All of his, like, stupid sycophants are gonna be like, oh, yeah. Masterful gambit, sir. Truly the art of the deal. You are the greatest deal maker of all time. Just give him that fucking nice sloppy toppy. Bro, you did this. You are the reason why this happened. Come on, bro. Jesus Christ. Trump. Joe Biden handed us over a country that was in very serious trouble economically. It was not. You are the one who decided. So, Biden's economy was in a state of recovery because of provisions within the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as Build Back Better. So that's why it was in recovery. But, you know, because this is neoliberal policy, economic policy, it oftentimes takes time in order to see the actual, like, recoveries. Because, again, Trump, because of his tax cuts and because of his handling of COVID, whoa, the economy was in the fucking shitter and inflation was going up because of what he did. Every single time, this motherfucker always causes an issue, does some ramshackle, dumb fuck solution to the fucking problem, and then has to blame the previous guy. Because again, or rather, like, that's not how it works at all. He does the fucking problem. The other guy comes in to fix it, but he blames the other guy who fucking tries trying to fix it. It's stupid. And people fall for this shit every single time because the Democrats are really bad at messaging. Biden's economy was recovering from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Was that really the reasoning why? I think it was more so because of COVID and a lot of the sort of corporate like the corporate sort of like price gouging schemes they were doing using inflation as a justification. That's why the economy was like kind of in the shitter and people were not able to afford stuff. It was because of COVID primarily. Also, what's up, Zane? But let's see, yeah, like, does he just say this? No other elaboration?
You know, it's like a patient is sick, you have to do surgery. Patient is very, very sick. And
Sure.
Joe Biden handed us over a country that was in very serious trouble, economically and in every other way. They let China run away with things. They let other countries run away with.
That's just a fucking lie, but okay, it doesn't matter because the stupid cultists are just gonna be like, yeah, Joe Biden is stinky poo-poo old man because he's stinky and he's poo-poo and he's old. Because, again, when it comes to conservatives, nothing fucking matters. Who gives a shit? Oh, this is him talking about, like, immigration again, because, again, the only thing that he might have, like, a slight idea about about, like, any kind of policies with immigration, but, again, seeking asylum is something you can do is a right that you have by international law, and insane asylums are not the same thing, but whatever.
Many of them were murderers and drug lords and thieves and people from prisons from all over the world. And they were people from mental institutions, insane asylums.
Yeah, again, that's just not true. A lot of the migration waves that happened during Biden's tenure were because of stuff he fucking did. Again, because of the general instability that has happened throughout Central America, because of also the sanctions he did on Venezuela, which caused their economy to go into hyperinflation. Although there was we looked it up. It was in Pew Research. It was about like 500,000 Venezuelan migrants came up to the U.S. to either seek political asylum or to leave the country because the country was going into the shitter because of him being salty about his failed fucking coup attempt of the Maduro government. But I digress yet again. It doesn't matter. He's just going to use this as a talking point, as a way for like, well, you know, it was the previous guy's fault, even though he's the reason why he did it. But okay, it doesn't matter because, you know, stupid idiot.
They were taking them mentally insane, and they were dumping them into our country.
Just a lie.
And I'll tell you, Tom Homan and Kristi Noem are doing a fantastic job.
The heads of the Gestapo.
Now the courts,
but like
Supreme
way
Court
more
just
stupid.
gave us numerous good rulings, where
not that the head of the Gestapo was fucking intelligent in any way. They were all fucking stupid. I'm just saying this rhetorically. Who gives a shit?
we have to be able to get them out. You had other judges trying to take over the system. And think of it, they take over. They want these people coming back. Tren de Aragua from Venezuela.
They're not from Tren de Aragua. The reason why, like Judges Boasberg and I forget the name of the other judge, in reference to the Maryland husband that ICE just randomly deported, because again, hey guys, I think it might be a bad thing for ICE to just randomly sort of deport people, but whatever. There's bad for them to have a quota system, but whatever. Again, you're just randomly deporting people without due process, without reading any of their rights, or going through the court system, which is what you're supposed to do, but you know, doesn't matter. You want your fucking little Gestapo toadies to just go around rounding up Browns because, I don't know, they're fucking stinky and may have tattoos or some shit. I don't know, whatever.
The Venezuela jails that cut off the fingers of a man in Colorado. They cut off his fingers because he called the police looking for help. They said, "Did you call the police?" He said, "Yes, I did." "Put your hand down," and they cut off the fingers. This is
sure,
what
random
they want to bring
anecdote,
these people
doesn't
back.
matter.
No.
Just say shit.
Many of them were murderers.
Just not 100% accurate. Who knows if it's like what? Who knows if like 100% the story that he's saying is true? Probably is, you know. Wild fucking shit can just happen. But not really have anything to say about the story, but he's doing it as like a sort of blanket policy on every single migrant. which, no, I don't think every single migrant is an illegal immigrant who cuts off people's fingers. I'm just gonna throw that out there, easiest take in the world, nothing too crazy.
What's your credibility like? Because you said that these tariffs would go into effect on Monday. You said no pause. And today there is a pause. So how can people believe?
That's a pretty good question. Now, I don't know, Daho, that sounds woke. That's true. I'm being kind of woke, DEI, fucking, critical race theory, racist, words. But yeah, this is a pretty good question, asking if should anyone believe in Trump? Good question. Answer is no, but
it's not a question of that. You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what, and keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. These guys know that better than anybody, right? You got to go around them sometimes. You're not going to go through them. So I consider,
we just got old man ramblings now or something. What the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, there's a wall. You gotta go through. You need to know how to go through a wall. Like, this is a question about you just randomly yoinking the fucking tariffs, just saying, actually, no, I'm not going to commit to the tariffs because someone told me, hey, this would be a really bad idea for you to do. You should not do this. Like, you should do anything but this. Please, for the love of God, don't do this. But, okay.
I think in financial markets, because they change. Look how much it changed today. We went from...
oh, we've heard this bit before.
Pretty moderate today, but over the last few days, it looked pretty glum. To, I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be...
Yeah, I mean, okay, we've already talked about this, whatever, like, it's still down overall from the 5-day trend. Like, he just decided to cause global instability just because, I don't know, he wanted to do a little bit of trolling or something. Like, there's... Like, what else are you supposed to say this? He's like, you wanted to do a little bit of trolling. I am doing a little bit of trolling. But whatever. Trump on why he announced the tariffs pause. I thought people were jumping a bit out of line. They were getting a bit yippy. Yippy. Like the autism creature or something? Like what?
You started the morning saying be cool. And just
Be
a
cool.
few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through what you're thinking about?
Oh yeah, he was also like trying to like tell people like that the markets are doing really well and that it's a good time to fucking trade and buy into the fucking markets on Truth Social. Like, what the fuck was he saying on Truth Social? Which is why people are saying, like, dude, is he like unironically like doing insider trading or some shit? There's the main fucking thing. Yeah, literally. Right here. Be cool. Everything is gonna work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than before. This is a great time to buy. DJT. This is fucking hilarious. Dude, there was definitely some bullshit that fucking happened. Come on, man. This just makes it obvious, bro. Yeah, this is totally not some, like, really crude, like, poorly executed market manipulation. Not at all. Come on, bro. Like, you're supposed to be discreet about stuff like this, Trump. Not just, like, announce it out in the open. But, well, you know, we're doing a little bit of trolling. A little bit of trolling. But, yeah, sure, man.
Why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions. Because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the president.
Sir, I put in the... I tariffed everyone, and then I took them away, and then I tariffed everyone, and then I took them away. Brilliant. Brilliant as always, sir. Brilliant. Yeah, I wonder why no other president is doing this. that's crazy. I wonder why. He'll just say Biden's COVID handling was worse. Yeah, because again, it doesn't matter. He's got a cult wrapped around his fingers. He can just say, he could, like, literally, when he said that I could shoot a man in Fifth Avenue and I'd still probably have people voting for me, he wasn't wrong. He was correct when he said that. He could shoot a man, wouldn't fucking matter. I do believe that there's some congressional action being taken right now, attempted to be taken, on the president's, sort of, what they could do with tariffs. Or what he can do specifically on tariffs, saying, like, no, you have to do this with congressional approval. Congressional bill on tariffs. No, that's not how you spell congressional. I'm just going to say Congress bill on tariffs. Trump tariffs. Here we go. 7 GOP senators sign on to bill to check Trump's trade authority. So this is like stupid video. Don't want that there. 7 senators, including Chuck Grassley, Mitch McConnell, the former Senate Republican leader, have signed onto a bipartisan bill that would require Congress to approve President Trump's steep tariffs on trading partners. So if I recall correctly, basically, it would require the president to notify Congress of the imposition of new tariffs and increased tariffs within 48 hours and provide an explanation of the reasoning for the action. Given how he likes to handle private, secret documents and everything, there's no fucking way, under any circumstance, that he would want to do any of that shit. No fucking way. We already know how he handles, like, secret documents and everything. Do you really think that the same fucking administration that had a Signal chat leak of highly classified top secret information of which can be very, very easily obtained, while some of the same fucking officials that were in that fucking chat were in Russia at the time, do you really think that he would want to provide the fucking reasoning for as to why these trade accidents are happening? No, he just wants to do whatever the fuck he wants because he's a wannabe king. That's it. More critically, it would require that the new tariffs sunset after 60 days unless Congress passes a joint resolution approving them. There's no way, even if this were somehow to pass with a supermajority, I think he said he would veto this. Yeah, Trump has already threatened to veto the bill, so, fuck it. I mean, sure, why not? Honestly, I hope this, I hope this bill doesn't pass. I want, Donald Trump to keep doing, like, the stupid shit that he's doing, so then, everyone else can, realize, wow, man, America fucking sucks balls. I want the fall of U.S. hegemony in probably the dumbest fucking way possible. I agree with this, actually. Personally, I think that the president should have could do anything the fuck he wants with tariffs. I'll be honest. Donald Trump, this is your lawyer speaking, your economic advisor speaking. You should keep doing what you're doing because it's going great. We'll get to what Scott Bessent said soon enough. We went over that already. But yeah, guess what? Everything's gone back up, but I believe overall everything has gone down. As a result, what's the Dow Jones looking like? There's the S&P 500. That overall went down because of all this fiasco, or just like pretty much stayed average. Like no fundamental change here. What about the Dow Jones? Ah, it went back up. Ah, art of the deal. Wait a minute. Oh, it hasn't changed at all. Whoops. NASDAQ. Whoa! Plus 12%. Oh, it hasn't really changed that much at all. Crazy. And yeah, let's look over the month-long thing. Like, what I'm saying, it doesn't fucking matter. I didn't look at the month-long for this. Still overall down. All the markets have still overall gone down. It's just silly. Either no changes happened or they've gone down a bit. It's so stupid, man. It's just so stupid, but it's okay. It's like dumb fuck cultists will just be like, oh, actually, it was a masterful gambit to get people to talk. And again, what concessions has he extracted? Like nothing at all. Has he extracted anything at all for this? He just did shit because he couldn't. Whatever, fuck it. YOLO, right? Like, he has to be doing fucking trading, like some form of insider trading, right? Like, how? Why would he do this otherwise? But yeah, literally this fucking dumbass fucking meme, see? It's like the perfect encapsulation for us to like the sort of attitude that these dumbass tariffs have. Is it's all just I'm adding them. This will create jobs. I'm removing them. Art of the deal. Cult, man. It's a fucking cult. It doesn't matter. You can say shit. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Who the fuck cares? Blah 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 blah. Don't matter. Who the fuck cares? Just do it. Funny Horseman. Tariffs are based because they will bring back manufacturing and fix trade deficits while raising revenue, but also we paused them because our allies didn't retaliate in 12 hours since the tariffs went out, except for those who did. Keep in mind, like, yeah, this is like the main Truth Social post. It's just like been a complete fucking shit show. It's been all over the place, the talking points, nothing fucking gels. He's just saying shit to just say shit. It doesn't fucking matter. Just do whatever. Blah, 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 blah. We need to end the global trade deficit, but we don't. We need trade revenue to replace income tax, but we don't. We need to rebuild domestic manufacturing, but we don't. Our allies didn't retaliate, but they did. It's a negotiation tactic, but it's also the end goal. The market going up is good. It's going down if it's good. Prosperity is good. Austerity is good. All outcomes are good. It doesn't matter. Who the fuck cares? Just say shit and do shit. It doesn't fucking matter. It's a cult. That's pretty much all there is to it. It doesn't matter. Say shit, do shit. Who the fuck cares? Alright, Scott Bessent. The main guy who should be mostly taking care of this stuff. What does he have to say? And I guess he also has, like... What? Nazi bimbo. Fucking Caroline Levitt.
That as the U.S. announced the tariff wall last week, many of those goods have already started flooding into
Pretty much, boy meets
You
me.
see it now.
Great chaos, maintain control.
China versus the rest of the world.
Well, I'm not calling it a trade war, but I'm saying that China has escalated, and President Trump responded very courageously to that. And
Yeah, after the initial tariffs that you decided to slap on China for like no reason, they escalated, and then keep in mind, the main people who have initiated all of this from the beginning, it's always been the fucking U.S. The U.S. is doing this because, again, it's like Steve Bannon said, flood the zone, do so much fucking bullshit that no one can fucking keep up with it, and then you get the real agenda done, which is, well, typically tax cuts for the rich.
And we are going to work on a solution with our trading partners.
And if I could just,
Sure, man.
excuse me, Raquel.
Yeah, if I recall, like, also, I do believe that Scott Bessent, because eventually, like, this shit is completely unsustainable. Like, it happened in the first Trump term where people were getting constantly fired and no one was getting rehired at all. Like, Trump's administration had, like, a lot of unfilled positions. What's the over under on like Scott Bessent being one of the people who gets fired immediately because he's been like leaking shit to the press? Like, what's the over under on that?
Well, if I could just add to what the secretary said, many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to.
He'll just go back to the Heritage Foundation or whatever. Yeah, this has clearly been the art of the deal, by the way. You know, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. It doesn't matter. See, like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a cult. They just do whatever. Stupid, like, Nazi bimbo will just say, like, yeah, you know, it was clearly the art of the deal. This was always intended. Yeah, oh, totally, man. It's like, yeah, sure, dude. I totally believe you.
Say that the rest of the world would be moved
Stupid.
closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United
Just
States
not
of
true.
America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this.
That's not the reason why they're calling you. They're calling you because they're like, hey, like, what you're doing is really fucking stupid. Like, why are you doing this? It's just, it doesn't matter. Everything is opposite. Actually, the market's doing well. Actually, it's totally terrible. It's been bad. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Just say shit. Just say shit just to say shit. Who cares?
President in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher. Elena, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Treasury Secretary.
Just you wait until all the little fucking treatlers out there, they're not able to fucking buy their treats for fucking on the cheap, and they start to have like a fucking schizo meltdown or some shit. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Even Mr. Beats hates the tariffs. That's really funny. Ah, yes, our biggest concern: small businesses. I mean, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. You can just say shit and do shit. But whatever. Who cares?
Can you explain more of the decision making on what feels like a reversal here? I mean, just
not the small businesses, guys.
15 hours ago, these tariffs. Why the pause now? What led to that?
No. Again, President Trump created maximum negotiating leverage for himself, and which tariffs went into effect 15 hours ago? The ones that we have.
Again, like, guys, he did this with like the most heckin' epicarino like intentions to try to get people to come to the table. Like when the fucking tariffs were happening, you want to know what like everyone was doing? It's like, okay, can we like cut deals with everyone else besides the US? Like that's what initially fucking happened. No one wanted to talk with the US. This is just like co-posting.
Lowered went into effect a week ago. They were announced a week ago, and we've just been overwhelmed by the response from mostly our allies who want to come and negotiate in good faith. So we are expecting them to come with their best deal.
What does fucking good faith mean here? I don't know. Whatever the whims of Donald Trump is. Who the fuck knows what any of these words mean? Words don't mean anything anymore, as we all know. Like, who the fuck cares? Just say shit. Do shit. Say shit. For whatever fucking reason. Who cares?
Yeah, as I said a week ago today, don't retaliate. Hold your ground. Let's see what happens.
They all retaliated immediately.
They kept escalating
or
and
threatened
escalating,
to.
And now they have 125% tariffs that will be effective immediately.
Mr. Secretary,
Go ahead.
Mr. Secretary.
I'm telling you right now, like what's the likelihood that those tariffs are gonna stay in place? There's no fucking way, right? I don't believe even for a second that those are staying in place. I'm gonna be honest.
So much for doing this. The 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs, is that because of the whiplash that we've been seeing across the financial markets? How much was, what we saw in the stock markets, a part of this decision?
No, it's because because of the large number of inbounds, we've had more than 75 countries contact us, and I imagine after today there will be more. So it is just a processing problem. Each one of these
what the fuck does getting contacted by these countries mean? Who knows? Like, maybe they just contacted you to cuss you out and just say you're like a stupid bitch or something. I don't fucking know. What is getting contacted by 75 countries even mean here? What was talked about? Like, again, doesn't matter. They're just gonna just say shit. Just keep saying stuff. It doesn't matter who gives a shit. Whatever. Just say shit.
Is going to be bespoke. It is going to take some time, and President Trump wants to be personally involved. So that's why we're getting the 90-day pause.
Yeah, sure, man.
Mr. Secretary, there was a tweet that you and Secretary Lutnick were in the Oval Office with the president talking about this. Can you talk about what that conversation was like and what you guys said to one another that led to this decision?
Look, it's all the president's decision, and the president had a level in mind to raise the China tariffs, and then he had the 3-month, essentially the 3-month pause in mind, and we were discussing the exact wording.
Why is bro's head shaking like that, dude? What's going on there? Again, like, what else are you even supposed to fucking say here, dude? Like, just do shit. He's lying through his teeth. Yeah, I highly doubt that that's what happened. I'm pretty sure one guy, because this is how fucking Trump operates, and the same thing that happened in his first term. How he operates is, one dude will get into his ear, say like, hey, I think you shouldn't do this because it's a really bad idea and we're all going to suffer from it, especially us, so don't do it. And then he just doesn't follow through with something. It doesn't, but it doesn't matter. The spin will always be like, our intrepid, great leadership was the main reason for as to why this, whatever the fuck happened. And, meh. Everyone's gonna buy it hook, line, sinker. Doesn't matter. Stupid.
Of course.
It's the president's decision.
It's the president's decision. It was the president's decision to wait until today. And again, as I've said in the past, no one creates leverage for himself like President Trump.
Mr. Secretary.
Shelby, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, what does the president want to see by this, I think it's July 9th deadline to keep things paused? Is it just trade barriers coming down, or is it more than that?
Here's another thing, because, like, with the initial reasoning for as to why these fucking tariffs even went into place, they're saying it's because of trade barriers. What does that even mean, right? Like just think about it for, like, literally 2 seconds. What does trade barriers mean in this context? Like, people, like, you have a trade deficit with someone? Does it mean there's a barrier? Different countries have different regulations and standards for differing products, which is why I keep saying, like, the main problem with American fucking products is, since they're made as cheaply as possible to maximize as much profit as they fucking can, guess what? Generally speaking, they tend to skirt over a lot of regulations because regulations are expensive. They cost a lot of money because you have to do, have safety concerns taken care of, different types of quality concerns also taken care of. And guess what? They try to sell a fucking product in a different market. They're not going to accept it because, hey, wow, this is made like shit and doesn't get into, like, for example, with, like, the EU. The EU has different regulations for a lot of stuff that they import. Do they meet a particular standard? And very often, American products just don't meet that standard. Especially, like, American cars. They're often way too big. They're often fucking slapdashly made. So, guess what? A lot of the European markets, when American cars came in to try to compete with European brands, all the time fucking failed because guess what? What was being offered by the European brands was often cheaper, made better, and also not fucking gigantic. An average size. Every single American car is, like, bigger than their European counterparts. Why? I don't know, because some, like, autistic fixation that the American mind has on having a giant fucking, like, kid smasher for a vehicle or some shit. It's stupid. So guess what? A lot of the Europeans are just like, no, we don't want this. Same with the Japanese markets. It's like, no, we don't want this because it's just like, our streets are way smaller and we have really good public transportation. We don't really need our car all that often, so we don't need this. We just don't. We're fine with our, like, our more local brands. Fuck it. Meh. We don't want these cars. But, keep making giant fucking 2-ton shit bricks that have terrible efficiency standards that are never going to be accepted anywhere else. Who cares? And then they're gonna, like, complain, like, meh, no, it's a trade barrier, meh. Remember when Lutnick said 1.4 billion Indians can't buy U.S. corn? India and Mexico produce just as much. Yeah, India is, what? it's also a breadbasket of the world because of the rivers along the Hindu Kush. A lot of agriculture gets processed in India. They are half the workforce is agriculture. That's 700 million fucking people. That's a lot of Dalits, okay? It's just like, yeah, they're an average exporter of fucking agriculture. I wonder why they don't want to buy U.S. corn. They don't fucking need it? They're like, yeah, we don't need this shit. Same with, like, most other fucking countries. They're just like, yeah, we don't really need this. And you guys produce... Because here's the thing. The U.S. is, on average, a huge corn exporter. But they produce so much fucking goddamn corn that it ends up just going away and just probably, like, rotting in a corner or some shit because they make too much of it. And they try to export it, and it's just like, well, no one fucking wants that. Half the corn is for feed. Yep, for their fucking dumbass, dying rancher industry or whatever the fuck. Stupid. It's just dumb.
These are trade negotiations, but if countries want to come and offer other things, I talked about yesterday that we are thinking about a big LNG project in Alaska that South Korea, Japan, Taiwan are interested in financing and taking a substantial portion of the offtake. But again, in essence, that is trade because it will decrease the trade deficit that we have with those countries. So everything's on the table.
Mr. President.
Raquel, go ahead.
Secretary, a clarification on the pause. What happened to those countries who just had 10% baseline tariffs, like Brazil and others? Are they still going to have this 90-day
That's a good
pause?
question.
Because we're saying that there will be a tariff of 10% for others. So what happened to those who just had a 10%?
Yeah, that's going to remain.
Okay, so the 10% general tariffs that everyone has are going to remain, but I thought they also backed off on that as well. Here's the thing with, like, this administration. Everything comes out so fucking fast and loose that you have no fucking idea, like, what the fuck is going on. I guess, the Penguin Islands still need to have their 10% tariffs. Not the penguins, no.
You call this an embargo to China?
Pardon?
You call this an embargo to China, a trade embargo?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by the word embargo.
125% tariffs, like, on those, and then impose 80%.
So is the clarification that, like, what, the 125% is an effective embargo? Not exactly. It just doubles the prices, right? I don't think so. That's how that works. Effectively, the prices on everything just doubles. Effectively. That's not 100% how that works, but
4%.
it's close enough.
Well, it's not. It's China's decision that we have the deficit with them. They sell us almost 5 times what we sell them. So again, I think it's an own goal by China.
Mr. Secretary. Meredith.
Is that even an answer to the question? Own goal by China? What, like, is China gonna face a trade embargo? I would love to see a trade embargo on China done by the U.S. That would actually make the U.S. economy completely collapse. It'd be really funny. Like, really, really fucking funny.
Secretary, with this, does this signal that you're confident that you're going to be able to strike a satisfactory deal with all these 75 nations that have approached you?
It signals that President Trump cares about trade and that we want to negotiate in good faith. And as I said, each one of these is going to be a separate, bespoke negotiation. So we are confident that having seen the other side of where this could go, and it was like I said last week.
Okay, well, I guess he's just gonna keep rambling on about whatever the fuck. The idea that the U.S., putting on the tariffs, taking off the tariffs, putting on the tariffs, taking off the tariffs, putting on the tariffs, taking off the tariffs, putting on the tariffs, like that. The fact that this is like an idea that should be treated in good faith, like, because broadly speaking, everyone at this point has dealt with Donald Trump. They have like a pretty decent idea of like sort of the way to handle him. Like, either you like have to fondle his balls or just be like, what do you like? Okay, we're just not gonna engage. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You're stupid. It's just dumb. Like, yeah, like it's an attempt at a control mechanism that's just causing instability. Because again, since the entire basis of the economy is on the stock market, that stupid gambling machine, that's already inherently unstable. If there's one thing that business likes anything more, it's fucking instability. Like, just think about that for a second. If there's anything that businesses like more than anything, it's the market being unstable. Sure, man.
The market didn't understand those were maximum levels. The countries can think about those levels as they come to us to bring down their tariffs, their non-tariff trade barriers. We're going to discuss currency manipulation, subsidy of labor, and industry.
Again, like, those are just a bunch of buzzwords that don't fucking mean anything. Like, again, a lot of countries have tariffs with the U.S., because if they say produce too much, and this is something that every fucking country does. Here's the particular example. If we have too much fucking dairy, too much fucking milk that comes up from the US, if it reaches a particular production threshold, anything over that threshold gets a 390% tariff. The reason why I'm using that as an example is because Trump thought that, all American dairy products just have a general 390% tariff on them. It's like, no. You have a lot more productive capacity than us, and we have our own dairy industry that we're also trying to foster and maintain. We still import a bunch of dairy from the U.S., but if you try to send over this, or like over the amount that we're saying, the amount that gets sent over that amount gets tariffed at 390%. That's like something that every country fucking has to make sure that a lot of their own domestic markets don't inherently collapse in on themselves, because, hey, guess what? If we're talking about the sort of production of food, broadly speaking, it is a good thing that every country engages in some form of domestic manufacturing of food or growing of food. Random fucking example, obviously. Or, like, obviously the same thing with, like, say, I don't know, like water or some shit. It's just silly.
Secretary, as far as you, will the pause also apply to the sectoral tariffs that the president has announced, pharma, lumber, anything else?
No, it's on the reciprocal.
So those will still be coming here soon, right? Mr.
Correct.
Secretary, as far as the negotiations with the 75
Andrea, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, so I want to ask you about what you're doing here. So the market is reacting crazily, right?
I haven't seen it.
Do you think that this move is going to sort of change and calm down the market reaction?
What?
Do you think the markets have tanked, right? You know, there's been a lot of volatility in the market, not just in terms of stock markets, but also in terms of bonds. So will this move, in your mind, do you anticipate that this is going to calm the markets down?
Well, I think what we've seen, I think the willingness by more than 75 countries to come and negotiate, I think now the market understands that everything they saw last Wednesday was a ceiling, and now we have a 10% temporary floor, and I think the market, my 35 years in the market, I always wanted certainty, so I think we've got more certainty.
But Mr. Secretary,
What did he even, like, what did he even say there? Was it just a bunch of gobbledygook? Just nonsense? Just nothing. Yeah, man, because it's really good to have a lot of fucking certainty in the market when just, like, President Dumbfuck will just say whatever, and then it'll just cause, like, a shitstorm collapse. Yeah, I mean, like, he didn't even say anything there. Yeah, pee-pee, poo-poo, China bad. They do... Everyone is against us for no reason. We're just special whittle boys. Like, what are you supposed to say here? You just said shit. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Random shit. Random shit. Go.
Why do people assume this is the last word? The president began this morning 5 hours later, he announces a new policy. Why will investors in the market assume that this is it?
Well, that's a really good question.
Because, again, as I said, we've given 90 days, and the only certainty we can provide is that the U.S. is going to negotiate in good faith, and we assume that our allies will too. And
no one has any assumption to, like, sort of go on the baseline that the U.S. is going to operate in good fucking faith because of the whole fiasco that just fucking happened. Like, we in Canada have already acknowledged, like, dude, why the fuck should we believe anything that you say? You just do random fucking shit because fuck it. You just want to do random fucking shit. Why should we believe anything that comes out of your fucking mouth? Like, why? And honestly, I think it's pretty reasonable that no one should fucking believe anything that that the U.S. has to say. Why should they? Why should anyone believe anything you have to say? Nah, it doesn't matter because China bad or some shit, right? Like, that's like the meme.
in terms of certainty, we will see what China does. But what I'm certain of is that what China is doing will affect their economy much more than it will ours, because they have an export-driven, flood the world with cheap export models, and the rest of the world now understands, because when we put up our tariff wall, those exports were already flowing to the rest of the G7 and to the global south.
And you think exactly.
I've already talked about why the Chinese have a global market. Who were the ones that exported all, not exported, but outsourced a lot of U.S. manufacturing to the global south in general? China, the rest of Southeast Asia. It was you guys. You did that. You did that through your various trade agreements that happened throughout the 80s. Thank you, Clinton and Reagan. Very good and fantastic. Broader market deregulation, the destruction of unions and stuff like that. That's why China's now an export market and has a huge base for domestic manufacturing. Because again, like, should this like spin up again for whatever reason, like the Chinese are probably going to be fine because they can manufacture most like average goods on their own. Like, it doesn't matter. Whereas the US does not have the capacity for that. Simply put.
Mr. Secretary, how much of this decision was driven by the bond market cratering overnight? What is happening with bonds? Is China selling their bonds?
I am nothing to.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the bond market was starting to fucking shit the bed. And by the way, if the bond market basically shits the bed, goodbye like the US dollar as the global current reserve currency, by the way. Like, you really think that that's going to be able to sort of like maintain itself when like just again all this random shit just keeps fucking happening? Probably not. I'm ready for the day for the yuan to become the next reserve currency. It's time. Time for Top G. President Xi. Top G.
And we actually had quite a good 10-year auction today. And all this was, again, this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And
sure, man.
That, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position.
Sure, man.
They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors, and we are willing to.
What did China even do? Like what did they do? You announced tariffs, and then they just said like, okay, here's like retaliatory tariffs because you guys hit us first with tariffs. Like what? Is that like the sort of meme we're going with? Actually, China were the bad ones all along. And it's just like, yeah, is that really the case, though? Really? I don't believe you.
To cooperate with our allies and with our trading partners who did not retaliate. It wasn't a hard message. Don't retaliate.
Yeah, he's just lying, by the way. Like, everyone retaliated, saying, like, yeah, no, we're gonna I guess we're putting on our own sort of reciprocal tariffs. I think the only one who might not have retaliated like much I think the only one who decided to back off like cowards was the EU. Cowardly EU as always, being cowards. Cowardly because again, the point of this is like to try to strong arm people into doing what he wants. That's the overall point of it. And guess what? For the most part, didn't really fucking work. Because again, some fucking like dumbass probably like whispered in his ear saying like, this is actually a really bad idea. Can we not do this? Please, for the love of God. And then it stopped.
Okay, things will turn out well.
What's your message to the Politico article saying that the countries weren't getting calls back?
These negotiations with these 75 countries, how long will that take? Will it be a matter of weeks? Will it be a matter of months? Do you expect financial markets to be stable during that time period?
Well, we've started with a 90-day pause, and we will see if more countries turn up, what will happen. But we have a meeting.
Actually, the EU is retaliating. EU will impose retaliatory tariffs next week. Never mind, I was wrong. The EU is retaliating. Oh yeah, he also gave like some stupid address at the National Republican Congressional Committee. I'm not going to bother looking at that because, again, it's just going to be all the same stupid talking points. It's boring, it's stupid, who cares, to be honest. Calling the metals tariffs that took effect last month unjustified and damaging. Oh, so the steel and aluminum tariffs are still in place? Lovely, fantastic. Countermeasures can be suspended at any time should the U.S. agree to a fair and balanced negotiated outcomes. Okay, so the EU is not backing down. They will affect $23 billion in goods from the U.S. Lovely. Personally, I think that the EU should do more. That's all I have to say. They should do more because fuck America.
With Vietnam today, and we have one of the largest trade deficits with them, so I'm hoping it will move in a good direction.
Yeah, because a lot of like cheap manufactured goods are coming out of Southeast Asia in general, because I guess that's more or less what it's good for lack of a better term, I guess. We want our cheap goods from Asia.
I was at the Japanese ambassador's house last night for the Cherry Blossom Festival, which was quite festive, and he and I
what
had
a special little boy, his little fucking festival.
Wow. Over. So we'll see. These are complicated negotiations. These are imbalances that have taken decades to create.
Sure, man.
But
whatever the fuck that means.
Having seen the maximum level that Donald Trump is willing to go to, President Trump has created this negotiating leverage.
Excuse me, everybody. Excuse me.
Just say words, doesn't matter.
Excuse me. The secretary is obviously a very busy man. As he has said, he's had more than 75 countries that the trade team has to respond to. I'd just like to end with this.
Case in point, Fender can make you a guitar for $600 in Mexico, $500 in Indonesia, and $2,000 here. Yup. Damn, it's almost as if there's like a lot of reasons, strange fucking reasonings that countries are poorer and some are richer. So guess what? Companies will charge you more for a particular fucking product in the US in comparison to other countries all the fucking time. Crazy. You would have thought such a thing is possible.
For decades, Republicans and Democrats have said that these unfair trade practices are ripping off the American people, are ripping off our country, but nobody has ever done anything to address it. We finally have a president here at the White House who is playing the long game, who is doing what is right for the American worker and our industries here at home, and he has put together a fantastic team in Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lustnick, the entire trade team who will be focusing on negotiating these good deals to put the American workers first, and we're going to get to work to do that. Thank you.
What about the EU? What about the EU? They retaliated this morning. Why aren't they being treated like China?
No, I don't think they're going to give a shit about that. It's hilarious, man. It's so fucking goofy. Just say random shit, do random shit. Again, like, yeah, idiots. Like I said, like has been fucking said constantly. Like I've been saying constantly. I still think they want to do the recession on purpose, more than likely, because, hey, what will that do? Allow private equity to gobble up more and more stuff that's failing, and obviously, as a result, have further corporate consolidation. Because again, for all these people, all they care about is corporate consolidation and control. That's what it's all about. That's all they've ever cared about, especially the fucking Republicans. None of this fucking matters. This was just stupid and dumb, and you can blatantly fucking see it. You can also understand the sort of mentality that we're working with. This was from one of the books written on Trump after his presidency, right? This is from Gary Cohn. I think he wrote one of the books on Trump talking about his presidency or something. But here, Mr. President, can I show this to you? Cohn fanned out the pages of data in front of the president. See the biggest levers of jobs? People leaving voluntarily was from manufacturing. I don't get it, Trump said. When I fucking said that all this fucking constant talk about wanting to bring back fucking manufacturing jobs is complete fucking nonsense, there it fucking is. People do not want rudimentary base manufacturing. Obviously, there's some amount of people who want it, whatever, but the general broader trend is people want to have better fucking working conditions than working in front of, as Cohn said, in front of a fucking 2,000 degree blast furnace. Or hunchback over a fucking loom making clothes. No one wants to do that shit. Cohen trying to explain. I can sit in a nice office with air conditioning and a desk, or stand on my feet 8 hours a day. Which one would you do for the same pay? Cohen added, people don't want to stand in front of a 2,000 degree blast furnace. People don't want to go into the coal mines and get black lung for the same dollars or equal dollars. They're going to choose something else. Yeah, if the pay, which is generally why, when more dangerous jobs are offered, like say crabbing or oil work or mining, generally speaking, more money is offered to those. And yes, that is also correct, Boy Meets Mini. Manufacturing jobs, because they're simpler work in terms of necessary fucking skills, they don't pay as much as corporate jobs. Sitting in front of a computer, working on fucking spreadsheets, or doing IT work. Those are going to pay more because guess what? You need skills to do those. Trump wasn't buying it. Several times, Cohen just asked the president, why do you have these views? I just do, Trump replied. I've had these views for 30 years. So it's just because he's an idiot. That's why. He's just stupid. It's just because he has, I don't know, some, maybe return with a V of, a style of Americana, or some other fucking bullshit. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He just has these thoughts because he just does. It's ridiculous. That doesn't mean they're right, Cohen said. I had the view for 15 years I could play professional football. It doesn't mean I was right. Sorry, you're saying that to the wrong fucking Mad King megalomaniac. Which is why very often I get fucking annoyed constantly of politicians appealing to we're going to bring back manufacturing jobs, we're going to do great. Because again, why do you want to do that? Who the fuck cares about rudimentary base manufacturing positions? Who gives a fuck about any of that shit? Why do you care? Is the immediate question I ask. Why do you give a shit about having these base rudimentary jobs? They don't pay as well as a corporate desk job. Why? Because again, of all the things that I've been mentioning constantly at this point, it's about maintenance of hierarchy. It is way easier to essentially tell someone to go back to their slop job in the mines or whatever It's way easier to maintain control over people who are doing base rudimentary work, because it's like you get up, do your average your daily tasks, then you go back, and then you get up, do it again, so on and so forth. In order to be able to maintain corporate jobs, you need skills, you need higher education, you need general critical thinking. I've talked about this before. Conservatives do not want people who can critically fucking think, because it is easier to, once again, keep them in line, maintain control. What is the first order principle of every fucking conservative? Maintenance of a hierarchy of control. Which is why I've been constantly saying they want to cause a recession, they want to simplify the fucking economy, not only for the express purposes of further corporate consolidation, but also because they want to make it such that it is way easier to control people if they're just having to do a bunch of base rudimentary work. That's why they are doing this. And what I mean mostly by they in this particular instance is like, you know, broader, like, the oligarchs, politicians, you know, people who generally are in power. This is why they constantly are trying to make all these dumbass fucking recessions, because it is way easier to maintain control of the populace that way. Like, think about it. You go to like an average African country. Like, what are the most of the jobs that are going to be there? It's not corporate tech work. I can guarantee you that. It's mostly going to be mining or agricultural work. That's what's going to mostly be there. And it's way easier to maintain a permanent underclass through mining and agricultural work. Way, way easier to do that in comparison to people who have, you know, developed more skills and intelligence, for lack of a fucking better term. That's why. Or people who have developed more education. That's more correct to say. Or who've been more educated. You get what I fucking mean. It's all about maintenance of control. That is the point. It is way easier to keep people in line if they're, honestly, for lack of a better term, really fucking stupid and are just like cogs in a machine, who are just like brainless, like sort of slugs, just working away at the mines or like clicking buttons on a fucking machine. That is the point. And overall, literally, the only reason, and this stuff is just going to keep happening over and over and over. Like, do you think this is going to be the last time that Trump is going to try to do this? Probably not. Because again, tariffs can work. They can, if there's some kind of like industrial policy backing that shit up. Just doing the tariffs is stupid. But we all know what this is about. First and foremost, maintenance of hierarchy and control. And you should never forget that. Never.